Good morning guys. So today I'll be comparing the cameras on the OnePlus 10T versus the iPhone 13 Pro. First off, I want to say that I'm going to do all the A-roll on the iPhone because for some reason when I plug in the DJI mic with the OnePlus, it doesn't work. I tried turning on the OTG connection, but it reads it as a drive instead. So there's that. Let's do a quick microphone test. Testing 1 2 1 2. This is what it sounds like on the OnePlus 10T. Testing 1 2 1 2. This is what it sounds like on the iPhone 13 Pro. So right now I'm heading into the city to go to the OnePlus event. I'm sure you're going to see a lot of different creators or tech creators over there. And the whole video is going to be like a mixture of daylight and low light footage because obviously the keynote is going to be pretty dark. And later tonight it's going to be like a launch party as well. So yeah, it's going to be a mixture of everything, and I'm just going to like voice over and give you my thoughts. Let's start with the wide angle first. And as you can see on the OnePlus, the shadows are in the more turquoise-like color, which probably can be fixed in a firmware update, which I've seen in other phones before. Another thing I noticed is the reds really pop on the OnePlus. They're really vibrant and it sticks out drastically. In my opinion, the OnePlus is more of a photo camera than a video camera. It does do decent HDR, but I think the highlights can be toned down a bit. I noticed the reds are still pretty vibrant on the photo side of things too, and for the front-facing camera, I do like the warmer skin tone on the OnePlus. So this is ultra wide that can be only shot on 1080p, so right now I switched it to 1080p from 4K on the OnePlus, and this is how it looks like outdoors before I go inside to shoot some low light footage. Let's talk about the ultra wide camera for photos first, and from my experience, the HDR seems to be really good, and sometimes I think it's better than the iPhone, which you'll see more later when I take pictures inside the venue. If you're planning to vlog a lot on the OnePlus 10T, then I feel like it's going to be mainly a 1080p shooter because you can take advantage of the ultra wide. It's very handy indoors in tight spaces, and for stabilization, you can see a bit of jitteriness from time to time on the OnePlus. And of course, it's 1080p, so it's not going to be as sharp as 4K on the iPhone. When you're looking in the shadows, you'll also realize some more noise going on with the OnePlus. Going back to the ultra wide, here's an example showing that HDR seems to perform pretty good on the OnePlus. It may be not as clean, but it does get the job done. On a wide angle lens, it does capture the text on the screen pretty sharply, whereas on the iPhone, it seems like it has that like soft glow effect around it. Moving on to telephoto, the OnePlus 10T doesn't have a telephoto lens, but it does have the option to quickly zoom into 2x, which does pretty good, which you can zoom all the way up to 10x, and at that point you can see that the quality is not as good. Of course, it's not going to be a dedicated telephoto camera on the iPhone. Moving on to the Instagram camera app, of course, iPhone is more optimized, so doing video, the OnePlus definitely will show more of a pixelation. It's not going to look as smooth, but that's pretty common in pretty much most Android phones. For photos, I noticed it's not as sharp and not as vibrant as the iPhone. I do realize that on Android phones, when you save video on Instagram, it would take a little bit for the pixelation to go away. It always starts at the beginning of the video, so make sure to add some buffer time if you're planning to save it. For portrait mode, the OnePlus seems to be pretty clean. When I'm looking at the background blur, I noticed that the iPhone does have a bit more noise than the OnePlus, and also the 1X is wider as well, which is nice to have when you're in tight spaces or if there's so many people around you. You do have a 2X option, which is nice, but on the iPhone you got that 3X, which does give you that nice background compression. Now the downside of that is it's really tough to use when you're in tight spaces or indoors. The last thing I want to show is the front-facing video in low light, which the iPhone seems to be very noisy, but I do like the coloring better, and of course the HDR seems to be better. Overall, as a camera phone, it is pretty decent. I would say that it's a better picture-taking phone than a video camera phone because you have to downres to 1080p to record video with the ultra-wide angle lens. But I'll say the OnePlus 10T is more of a gaming phone and performance phone than a camera phone. So let me know your thoughts and what you think about the OnePlus 10T. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.